Welcome to this week's episode of Built from Broken. This is episode 3, Reclaiming Your Identity. This version of me is the version that I used to avoid a lot. The one that I betrayed, the one that I overused, the one that I overworked, the one that I overshared, the one that I drained to keep everyone else full. I owe her a story. So here it is. When accepted wasn't a word that I knew, I never really knew what it meant. Accepted by whom? Because to be honest, I never really felt accepted, not by the world, or to be quite frank, the people closest to me either. I learned early to never expect things from people because of the things you do. So don't expect you out of other people. You can't expect people to check on you all the time the way you check on them. Sometimes people won't really identify you as a person that's close enough to them to check up on you. And it's just life. Sometimes people have a life of their own and it slips their mind. But speaking on being candid and having people show you them for them, you have to understand that you can't self sabotage and you have to see the signs for what they are. I became a strong person. I became the strong one, the listener, the fixer, but really whoever listened to me in the sense of the word acceptance. I learned that I was never the chosen one. And the saddest part of that statement is that I didn't even choose me in my own peace. I always felt like no matter how much I gave, it was never enough. It was always over giving and filling up people's cups from a cup that was always empty. I kept on adding and adding and adding onto a already cracked, almost broken foundation. I ended up bleeding on people that didn't cut me. Not only did I carry my own trauma, but I added on top of that by inheriting other people's trauma and trying to save other people's trauma and avoiding my own. And the sad part about all of that is I lost a lot of good people because of it. I lost a lot of good people in my life because I just kept bleeding on people. I kept on poisoning the space of people that didn't deserve it. I kept on giving people pieces of me to heal when it wasn't their job to heal me. And the people that did choose me, it was merely because we were trauma bonding. I bled on a lot of innocent people that didn't deserve it. And this is why it was time for me to reclaim my identity. I needed to not try to be who I was, but I needed to give the person that I was suppressing the opportunity to live honestly, peacefully, to give that person the opportunity to be the one to live life without having to feel like they were living on a survival mode. Through all this, there came a time when I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I didn't recognize myself in pictures. I didn't recognize myself in my own reflection. And to be honest, I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what it was that I needed to make myself feel real within myself. I kept picking people who were selling me fake lottery tickets and fake dreams, reflecting on my own inner insecurities and picking the wrong people. I turned my back on a lot of good people who wanted to build a life with me. And I just felt like the trauma is what I needed for some reason. In 2014, I caught a mild heart attack one morning during an argument on my way to work. And it really opened my eyes to who and what I was trying to save. Because the only person that mattered was the person that I was running down to the ground, the person that I didn't recognize, the person that I couldn't get away from, the person that no matter how many times I didn't look in the mirror, it was still with me every single day. And that was the beginning of letting go, because it was hurting more to hold on to trying to save something I didn't know than to rebuild something that I knew I could be by using my lessons as a stepping stone. I was giving the people the license to train me. And yet I kept running and kept going and kept giving people the opportunity to run me empty. And although I was empty, I was still handing people gas. You got to understand, people, that the truth hurts, but so did I. I kept on running. The change didn't come because things got better. The change came because I got tired. I got tired of the movies playing in my head over and over and over and over, of the things that I've done, the things that I knew that the guilt was eating me alive from inside out. I knew that I did not want to be this monster to people. And masking that pain was just making me more of a monster, because I was handing people my pain by inviting poison into their space and expecting them to understand me. And that's the most toxic shit you could ever do to somebody. I felt like no matter what job I took, no matter where I went, what city I lived in, who I loved, the common denominator in all of the experiences and all of the pain was me. And if you do not take accountability and understand what that means and what that entails, you're never going to learn how to live in peace. And it sucks because it doesn't get easy. It gets worse before it gets better. But I'm telling you, that was the death of my reflection. I had to stop bleeding on people that didn't deserve it. I had to stop losing good people because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. I kept running from something I couldn't run from. And I kept masking the truth of who I was, what my identity is, who am I when I look in the mirror. And it was time to reclaim it. It was time to be true to myself. I told myself that if I did not get out of my own head, I was not going to make it. I was definitely not going to make it. And I didn't want to die. So I had to make a choice. And that choice was to face my worst enemy, which was me. And to make myself recognizable to myself. Because if you think the mind isn't stronger than anything else, you are wrong. And the most important health of your life is your mental. My first act of claiming my identity was to be truthful, even if it made people uncomfortable. even if it made me feel uncomfortable. Because in order to grow, you have to start with truth. And I know there's going to be a lot of people in life that are a part of my story in a negative light or a positive light that may not agree. And it's not about other people in this instance. It's about being truthful and honoring the truth, whether you're the monster or not. It's learning how to deal with the fact that, yes, you were the bad guy. Yes, you were the villain. And yes, you poisoned people that didn't deserve the rotten apple. But admitting that to yourself is half the step to reclaiming a true identity to what you broke down yourself. The poison in my pain was seeping into my presence, almost costing me my wife before she became my wife. And that was not something I wanted to live my life with. That was not something I wanted to deal with or endure anymore as to what I was dealing with back then. I was not going to live my life like that. I feel whole, but I'm not complete. It's a work in progress. Things aren't easy. Healing isn't a destination. It's an everyday decision to not go back and be the person you were before. Looking back now, I know I wasn't living. I was just surviving and doing what felt good in the moment. I made decisions with no direction at all, just going with the flow and losing people. I was cold, I was reckless, I was selfish. And it's like, looking back at it, it cost me more damage than I could have ever imagined. And all in the name of what? All in the name of what? That guilt cost me a lot. And that guilt rides with me for it still rides with me. I mean, I know what people have done to me and what it cost me to deal with. So it's like I could only imagine what it's like to be the one who did that to someone else. And not everybody has this remorseful sense of empathy. In life, you have, if you believe in good, you have to believe in evil. I mean, but the things that I've done, I'm not proud of. I'm not happy about it. And I want to reclaim a sense of peace within myself and knowing that I can say these things out loud, that I'm not proud of it, that I can hold myself accountable. And I owe the girl that we're surviving the opportunity to live in peace. Because along with the people that didn't deserve what I did, she didn't deserve to live surviving. And that's a big part of why I think it's important for me to reclaim my identity. Some things that help me in reclaiming my identity are strength tools, things that I can do daily to help me keep myself focused, keep myself in a direction, to not slip or relapse into my own head, if you want to say that. And I call this the mirror method. You can stand in front of the mirror and say out loud three truths about the version of you that you've outgrown. And now speak three intentions of the version you're becoming. And do this for a week straight every morning when you wake up and see how you feel. And of course, I'll also journal. And for those of you that journal, you can ask yourself, what parts of me were shaped by survival and not choice? And how do I begin separating the two? Dig into who you became because you had to and not because you wanted to. This isn't a redemption story. This is a recognition story, because reclaiming your identity isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally honoring the version of you that needed saving and deciding that she matters, even if no one else thought so. Please join us every week, Sunday at 10 p.m. We upload new episodes of Built from Broken. Please continue to like, follow, and share.